This week I received an email from Aaron, and he wanted to know why I was not a big advocate, and even went so far as to say, why don't you like stationary bikes? If you have followed me for any period of time, I'm very big on biomechanics. And when we're looking at you being able to improve your aerobic capacity, when we're looking at your ability to improve physical strength, one of the concerns that I always have is you have a completely different range of flexibility and or range of motion than anybody else in the world. We all have very unique components associated with range of motion, associated with flexibility, flexibility with bone length, bone density, muscle to flexibility, strength to flexibility ratios. If you follow me for any period of time, you've heard me speak about it extensively. But what I want to speak about today was Aaron's question about why don't I like stationary bikes? And what he was referencing are the ones that you find at the gym. The reason why I don't like the ones at the gym is the measurements to adjust the stem up and down, forwards and backwards, the seat up and down, forwards and backwards. They're set in definitive increments. If you have studied anything associated with cycling, if you look at the top cyclists in the world, they're literally moving their seat, they're moving their stem a millimeter at a time. When you look at if you look at the seat that you adjust back and forth, that might be a quarter of an inch. That might be an eighth or even a 32nd of an inch. You go, well, Rob, why does that matter? Well, when you're on a stationary bike, let's just say hypothetically you're taking a spin class and they want you to get your RPMs up. You've got some instructor up there that's yelling at you, get your RPMs up, spin, 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 let's go. Well, just like any other machine, as you bring the RPMs up, as you bring the leg turnover up, we refer to it as cadence in the cycling world. When the biomechanics are incorrect, you run the risk of an injury, significant injury. Again, if you've hung around any cyclists, if you are a cyclist or you've been around any pro level of cycling, literally the positioning of their foot in the pedal, the fore-aft positioning, is down to the millimeter. Whether that seat is up or down, whether the seat is moved forwards or backwards, whether the stem is moved up or down, forwards or backwards, it's literally down to the millimeter. Now, I don't want this to come across derogatory. If you're into just general fitness and you're not getting the RPMs up and you're not putting a lot of tensile strength on the tendons and the ligaments and the muscles, sure, that type of equipment will be sufficient. But then I'm going to contradict myself and say, I've seen someone who considers themselves just a general fitness person actually get hurt on a spin bike. And that was because the hard part that you run into with any stationary piece of equipment, whether it's a spin bike or even a piece of lifting equipment, the challenge that you run into is your body's having to accommodate where the bike is positioning you. And it's in set increments. Well, what if no matter how much you adjust the stem up and down, the seat forwards and backwards, and the seat up and down, it just doesn't get you into that sweet spot? You're going to start running into biomechanical issues. The tracking of the patella, that's your kneecap, its ability to track in the patella groove is going to be negatively impacted. And then you get what's called chondromalacia. Underneath the kneecap, you have that fine lining. As it gets ground down on the head of the femur is up in your hips, the other end of the femur as it goes into your knee. If your quads and the knees if the kneecap is not tracking straight in the patella groove, now it's out of alignment. The knee will start to swell up and get puffy, start to fill with fluid. These are all stop gaps to keep you from hurting yourself. First, it gives you an indicator. Hey, that hurts. Then it gets hot to the touch. That means it's aggravated. Then it starts to fill with fluid. It's trying to keep you from being able to continue to create damage. We have all these defense mechanisms, but we have a tendency to push through them. And I get it. You're dedicated to trying to improve your fitness. But unfortunately, not all pieces of equipment are conducive for everybody. So keep that in mind. It's not that I'm against them. What I am against is getting injured. So if you can't get the bike to feel comfortable, please don't go and add high intensity. Don't go torquing a lot of tension down on that heavy flywheel. Because remember, if you're in a bad biomechanic position and then you add either speed and or load, you're just on a fast track to an injury, unfortunately. So great question from Aaron. I want to make sure that we keep you guys healthy. We want to make sure you guys are training smart, and we want to make sure that you're able to enjoy the effort you're putting in. If you happen to have a question like Aaron did, please do me a favor and send me a question. contact@coachrob.com. We're putting up a video every day here on YouTube, so we appreciate all the support. Continue to like and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the notifications so you'll be let known when our next video will drop. It's pretty much the same time every day, but we want to make sure you don't miss it. Thanks for your time today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.